Hello, everybody. Welcome back for the next chapter in Allies. Before we get started today, I just wanted to say that we are thankful that Scholastic has given us permission to make these recordings of the books. And the other cool thing is that we actually reached out to Alan Gratz. He wrote an email back saying that he gave permission as well. So we're thankful that both Scholastic and Alan Gratz have given us permission to read these chapters. I'm going to continue today with the next chapter, which is entitled Cyrano Introduces Himself. Cyrano! No! Samira cried. She burst from the bushes where she and the Marquis were hiding and tried to catch the little dog, but she was too late. Cyrano barked, and a pudgy, gray haired man with a short gray beard opened the door. Samira froze. The old man wore brown pants and a blue jacket with a red kerchief tied around his neck. In his left hand, he held a cup of something that steamed. Samira was perfectly visible to him in the moonlight. Well, 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 the old man said with a smile. He looked first at Samira, then at Cyrano, who trotted inside and turned around 3 times before settling himself by the wood stove. Ah, said the old man to Cyrano, make yourself at home. When he turned around again, Odysseus and the other Marquis had stepped out of the darkness with their guns. And who do we have here? Marquis? The old man said. He put the tips of his fingers to an imaginary hat. Brigadier Rene de Compiègne, French army, he said smartly, and then added, the last war, of course. He's one of the hairy ones, said Jason. Hairy Ones was a nickname for the French soldiers who had fought in the trenches of the First World War. They often had beards or mustaches, and the nickname stuck. You'll be here to blow up the train tracks in the tunnel, then, de Compiègne said. It's just up around the bend. I'll show you where the telephone lines are, too, so you can cut those. Samira could tell the Marquis were surprised. They shared suspicious glances. You sound like you were waiting for us, Odysseus said. Well, not you personally, but someone from the Marquis. This is an important line. I myself have slowed down German trains on a number of occasions, the old man said proudly. You'd be surprised how difficult it is to get these old switches to work in a timely manner. He winked, and Samira understood that the difficulty with the switches was entirely engineered by de Compiègne. None of you know a young Marquis by the name of Elise de Compiègne, do you? The old man asked hopefully. She's my daughter. The Boches called her up to the compulsory work service last year, and she ran away to join the Marquis rather than be a German slave. We use code names, Odysseus said. I'm sorry. De Compiègne nodded. Of course, that makes sense. I think we can trust this one, Jason told Odysseus. Odysseus agreed, and Samira sighed with relief. She didn't want to see the old man killed just because he was in the right place at the wrong time. Atalanta, you stay with the station keeper, Odysseus said. Samira started to argue, but Odysseus cut her off. We're dynamiting a tunnel. It's dangerous work, and I won't have you there. Besides, we need someone to stay here to cut the telephone wires. We'll leave them open until it's done, so as not to arouse suspicion should the Germans try to call. There's a phone junction box at the other end of the tunnel, de Compiègne told them. You can call us from there to tell us it's done. Oh, you'll know, Jason said. Enjoy the warm fire, Atalanta. We'll be back before you can say boom. Come inside, my dear, de Compiègne said to Samira, heading in. Do you drink coffee? Jason held Samira back. Keep an eye on him, he whispered, startling her. Hadn't Jason just said that the old man could be trusted? And what was she supposed to do if he was a collaborator after all? There was no time to ask any more questions. Jason and the Marquis were already gone, walking down the track toward the tunnel. Samira followed the old man inside. Cyrano's eyes peeked open to watch Samira as she sat at the station's little table. Then he went back to sleep with a contented sigh. The little dog had clearly already decided the old man wasn't a threat, but now Samira was suspicious. De Compiègne put a new pot of water on the wood stove. This war, he said. I thought when the first one ended, there would be no more war in my lifetime. Maybe ever again. How could anyone who saw what happened in the First World War ever let it happen again? But here we are. The long night was catching up to Samira. It was warm and cozy in the little station house, and she could feel herself getting drowsy. She rubbed her eyes to try to wake herself up. I hope your daughter is all right, she said. Thank you, de Compiègne said. Is one of those men your father? No, Samira told him. My father is dead. Killed by the Nazis in Paris. They captured my mother earlier tonight. The pain of seeing her mother dragged away came back to her all over again, and tears welled in her eyes. She put her head down on her arms on the table and looked away so de Compiègne wouldn't see her cry. I'm sorry, the old man said. I do not know if my daughter is alive or dead, so my wife and grandson are all I have left. But perhaps this war will end soon, and we will both be reunited with what is left of our families. Thoom! The room shook, rattling metal cups and tunnels, and Samira jerked awake. She had fallen asleep. She was supposed to keep an eye on the old man, and she had fallen asleep. I think that was your friend's, de Compiègne said. He sat in a chair in the corner, a cup of coffee on a small table beside him, and an open book on his lap. Over by the wood stove, Cyrano was awake and alert. The phone rang, and the old man got up to answer it. Samira rubbed the sleep from her eyes and realized the old man had put a blanket over her. It slipped to the floor. How long had she dozed? Had de Compiègne phoned the German authorities while she had been sleeping? Were Odysseus and Jason and the others about to be rounded up and tortured by the Nazis for information about the Allied invasion? How could she have fallen asleep so fast? I see, de Compiègne said into the phone. His voice became urgent. Yes, of course, I understand. I will do what I can. He hung up and turned to Samira. Quickly, my dear, we must hurry. He snatched up a long metal tool shaped like a T. Your friends were able to blow the tracks, but not before an unscheduled train got past them. A train loaded down with German tanks.